Anil Kumar. What I want to discuss is impact of water scarcity in Indian economy. Water constitutes 70% of the Earth's surface, but only 3% of it is useful for drinking water. Not only for drinking purpose, water is used in many ways, but we are not utilizing it for most maximum purpose. So, what causes water scarcity is mostly we are polluting water too much, not too much, extra too much. We are not at all using in the right way by disposing our waste into water directly without purifying them, and so many other things are the causes for causing water scarcity. And the next is lack of storage facilities. In India, storage facilities for water are very little. The dams which we could construct are not at all completing in time, and so lots of water going wastely into the sea. And lack of low level of groundwater availability. Groundwater availability also is decreasing day by day. We are not doing any activities relating to earth pits like the today. Now the government has realized it essential, and so many of them are motivated toward those kind of things like digging earth pits, planting trees, etc. What are the effects of water scarcity in Indian economy? Its main effects. It causes lack of access to drinking water. Many villages are still there is no facility for water. They walk miles and miles to get a bottle of drinking water. Not only human beings, animals also suffering too much. In the forest, there is no availability of water. So many animals are dying because of water. And poverty. Water causes poverty. Yes, it's true. In India, most being an agricultural country, most of them are relied on agriculture, for which water is the main source. Lack of water, so many farmers are doing suicides, and they are coming to the cities, and they are becoming daily laborers. This is not good. Farmers are the backbone of India, so we should make them happy. So we should conserve water, and water is also used for industrial purpose also. There are many industries which rely on water too much, like steel plant, etc. Lack of water may lead to reduce its production or close down its operations, which causes unemployment. And power. Yes, water is the most important source of power. There are hydroelectricity stations which rely on water. For that, we should also conserve water. Now, what are the solutions to conserve water? Education. The importance of water should be taught to children from schooling itself, and not only to children, and all the society should be educated to itself, and there should be so much of storage facilities should be built across India, like dams and other things. Yes. Thank you.
Everyone. The topic on which I would like to speak is the Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana. It is announced by the Prime Minister Narendra Modi on the eve of Independence Day in 2014. It is basically only 58% of the households have access to bank accounts or banks or financial institutions. Others all are dependent for loans or any other services on the unserious money lenders, and even the potential investors invest their money only in the Ponzi schemes. And to avoid all this, the Modi government came out with this scheme, which is the Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana. Its tagline is Mera Khata Bhagya Vidata, and it is the main aim of this program or this scheme is to bring all the Indians into the financial mainstream. Every person, every household should have minimum one bank account, and that is why the scheme was opened. But before going to the pros and the cons of this scheme, we should first actually question ourselves a question: why actually this program? Even the critics question exactly why this scheme is different from the other scheme. There were many schemes which came which wanted people to have access to bank accounts or something like that, but nothing of that worked out, as we all know. So why exactly this? Because this scheme has many benefits. The first benefit is that you can maintain a bank account with zero balance. If you see any private sector or public sector banks also, I don't think many of them would offer this zero balance account maintaining scheme. And the second one is after 6 months, the holders get a facility of taking up to 5,000 rupees of overdraft, which is really, really attractive to the people who are below poverty line or who need immediate loans. Like they can't go for collateral security, or there's a lot of process in taking loans. So this is a really attractive thing. And next thing is the main thing, introduction of a new technology through which we can transfer funds and we can check out our balances and everything, not only with a smartphone but also with a normal phone, yes. Which is really very useful because not everyone has an access to a smartphone these days. If you see in the rural areas, not in the urban though, the farmers might be having a very nominal phones, and even through that they can access to all these technologies. And mobile banking has become really easier because of this scheme. And the next one is there's a collaboration between the mobile companies and the banking sector for this ease of mobile banking. And what exactly the PM did for this scheme was he personally mailed to all the chairmen of the private sector undertaking banks to complete the gigantic task of opening 7.5 crores of accounts, which is really pretty high in number. And to my shock, and I guess all of you will be shocked to hear this, that after opening this scheme, there were almost 22.67 crores of accounts opened. So which is like, yeah, this scheme is running successfully. And if you come to the pros and the cons of this, first I would like to discuss about the advantage, that is the pros. This is the main pro is that it is to expand the banking and financial insurance sector, and it will also allow direct transfer of targeted beneficiaries. Like we all know that many of the farmers might get subsidies, but due to this leaks in the system, due to corruption, due to this, the middlemen who have to transfer the money, the thing gets delayed or something, and because of that, the person who is actually supposed to get the benefit is not getting it. So if someone has a bank account, directly the government can transfer the money to that bank account. So it would be easy for the government as well as the person receiving the beneficiary. And next thing is, this is to ensure transparency, and also that, as I told you, that many people are depending upon money lenders and many other Ponzi schemes to deposit or invest money, and this would also remove such kind of disadvantage. But as we all know, the coin has two sides. If we discuss the disadvantages, it is another social welfare scheme. Since our independence, we have many schemes, but I don't think anything has is so effective somewhere. Yeah, for the first year, the second year it's effective, but then later on it's like the same, nothing goes. That's why India is still a developing country. And next thing is questionable viability. We actually don't know how far the banks will be initiating to take such, as I told you, zero balance accounts. Which bank would be interested in doing that, because everyone is a commercial, every bank is a commercial bank today. And the next thing is the burden on the taxpayer. It is like a burden because the service tax thing will increase because of the delayed banking process. And to conclude the speech, I would like to tell you it's a good scheme if it is implemented properly, and if there's no leaks or if there is no corruption into this, it would be successful. Thank you.